Batman Begins. We open on a cold, rainy night in Gotham. Young Bruce Wayne witnesses the tragic murder of his parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne, played by Linus Roach and Sarah Stewart, in a dark alley at the hands of Joe Chill, Richard Brake. This event marks the beginning of Bruce's lifelong quest for justice. Years later, Bruce travels to a remote mountain temple where he trains under the formidable Ra's al Ghul, Liam Neeson. The League of Shadows offers him a place, but Bruce refuses their brutal methods, especially their insistence on killing to achieve order. This refusal leads to his breakup with Talia al Ghul, Lexa Doig, Ra's daughter. Back in Gotham, Bruce Wayne returns home and dons the mantle of Batman, Christian Bale. In the Batcave, he confides in Alfred Pennyworth, Michael Caine, about his drive, the memory of his parents, and his investigation into Joe Chill's killer. He has learned Chill is about to be released from prison, but before he can act, Joe Chill is mysteriously murdered behind bars. Bruce suspects figures like Carmine Falcone or Sal Maroni, David Zayas, orchestrated it to keep their empire safe. As Batman, Bruce targets Carmine Falcone first. He dismantles several of Falcone's operations, but Falcone himself escapes unscathed. Next, Batman moves on to Sal Maroni's territory, again striking at his men, but never catching Maroni himself. During his crusade, Batman discovers a disturbing scene, a dead body posed grotesquely. This leads him into his first direct encounter with a real supervillain, Victor Zsasz, Anthony Carrigan, a ruthless hitman who works for Falcone. Batman manages to capture and leaves Zsasz for the police, but the officers arriving are a mixed lot. Jim Gordon, Gary Oldman, newly promoted to commissioner, is intrigued by Batman's methods and potential. Harvey Bullock, Donald Logue, remains skeptical, considering Batman a myth, or worse, a vigilante menace. Renee Montoya, Victoria Cartagena, outright distrusts Batman, believing him to be a criminal. Back in the Batcave, we see Bruce has already taken down the notorious Red Hood gang. The city, however, faces a new threat, a terrifying fear toxin spreading through a drug pill, sending its victims into madness. Batman's investigation leads him to the twisted mind behind it all. Jonathan Crane, aka Scarecrow, Cillian Murphy. During their first confrontation, Scarecrow sprays Batman with his fear toxin, forcing Alfred to rescue Bruce from a nightmarish state. Despite this, Bruce maintains his double life and even goes on a date with Vicky Vale, Kim Basinger. But Scarecrow's menace escalates. He targets Vicky and Commissioner Gordon, forcing Batman into a desperate rescue mission. This act earns Batman Gordon's cautious trust. Diving deeper, Batman uncovers that Scarecrow's experiments at Arkham Asylum are being conducted in collaboration with none other than Ra's al Ghul. Bruce disrupts a mob deal led by Scarecrow and uses his own toxins to incapacitate him. With Scarecrow subdued, Batman confronts Ra's al Ghul on a speeding train rigged to explode. The intense battle ends with Batman preventing a catastrophe. Though part of the train is destroyed, no lives are lost. Ra's al Ghul escapes with his life, but the threat remains. In the closing scene, Batman stands atop the Gotham City Police Department building beside Commissioner Gordon. Gordon hands Batman a Joker card, cryptically stating, "Someone wants to meet you." Cast: Bruce Wayne, Batman, Christian Bale, Alfred Pennyworth, Michael Caine, Jim Gordon, Gary Oldman, Harvey Bullock, Donald Logue, Renee Montoya, Victoria Cartagena, Martha Wayne, Sarah Stewart, Thomas Wayne, Linus Roach, Joe Chill, Richard Brake, Carmine Falcone, John Doman, Sal Maroni, David Zayas, Victor Zsasz, Anthony Carrigan, Vicky Vale, Kim Basinger, Talia al Ghul, Lexa Doig, Scarecrow, Jonathan Crane, Cillian Murphy, Ra's al Ghul, Liam Neeson story. Green Arrow, the Emerald Archer, Origins. The sea was calm, deceptively calm, on the day the Queen's Gambit set sail. Oliver Queen had everything, wealth, charm, status, and was drifting through life without purpose. His father, Robert Queen, Jamie Sheridan, had taken him and Sarah Lance, Katie Lotz, his girlfriend's younger sister, on this trip. It was supposed to be a bonding journey. Then the storm hit. The wreck was chaos. Sarah was pulled away by the ocean's fury. The ship tore itself apart. Oliver survived, barely. Floating wreckage carried him and the other two survivors, his father and his father's friend Dave Hackett, Ben Cotton, to a lifeboat. But survival was brutal. As food and hope ran out, Robert revealed a terrible truth. They weren't alone on the boat for safety. Hackett had betrayed them. In a moment of cold calculation, Robert killed Hackett, then shot himself, leaving Oliver the only survivor with a haunting message. Right my wrongs. Oliver washed up on the shores of a mysterious island, Lian-Yu. It was no paradise. The island was a crucible. Armed men, experiments, warlords. He was captured, tortured, broken, then reforged. He was trained by two men, Slade Wilson, unnamed for now, and the deadly martial artist Constantine Dracon, Darren Shalavi. One sharpened his will, the other taught him how to kill. But Oliver never forgot what his father did. Sacrifice, legacy, guilt. After years of torment, a ship finally rescued him. He was thin, scarred, and hardened. At the hospital, a doctor told his mother, Moira Queen Susanna Thompson, the truth. Oliver might have returned, but he was not the same boy who left. Back in Star City, he reunited with his younger sister Thea Willa Holland, now a sharp teenager. She barely recognized him. Trying to reconnect with life, Oliver went out with his old friend Tommy Merlin, Colin Donnell. Together, they met Dinah Drake, Katie Cassidy, Sarah's older sister, and Oliver's ex. Tension swirled beneath forced smiles. That night, Oliver and Tommy were kidnapped. A gang dragged them into a warehouse and tortured them. But Tommy had been drugged, barely conscious. Oliver wasn't, and he broke free. Years of pain and training unleashed themselves. The thugs didn't stand a chance. When the police arrived, Oliver told them the same thing he told Tommy. A man in a green hood saved them. The man who arrived to take their statement was Lieutenant Quentin Lance, Paul Blackthorne, father of Sarah and Dinah. He already hated Oliver for what he did to his daughters, taking one on the Queen's Gambit and leaving the other heartbroken. Now, hearing his name wrapped up in a vigilante incident, Quentin's suspicion grew. Soon after, Oliver's mother hired a bodyguard for him, John Diggle, David Ramsey. Strong, observant, not easy to shake. Meanwhile, Oliver began quietly investigating his father's old journal, a list of names tied to corruption and crime. At a gala, Oliver ran into Malcolm Merlin, John Barrowman, an old family friend and Tommy's father. Malcolm praised Oliver's return and hinted that the world needed men willing to act boldly. That night, the Hood was born. First on the list, Adam Hunt, Brian Markinson, a corrupt financier draining the city. Hunt got wind that the hooded vigilante was targeting him. In response, he hired Muscle, Red Tool, Adam Sandler, Deadshot, Michael Rowe, Bronze Tiger, Michael Jai White, and Constantine Dracon himself. Oliver's first showdown was with Red Tool, real name Wayne Wilkins, a hyperactive assassin with a love for chaos and too much caffeine. Red Tool's mouth never stopped moving. He was dangerous and unpredictable. Oliver attacked him in a parking garage, trying to subdue him with a regular arrow. No effect. The man wore armored padding under his clothes. But Red Tool talked too much, too fast. Oliver used the distraction, damaging the armor with explosive arrowheads. Then he hit him with an electric arrow, one that knocked him cold. By the time cops arrived, the Hood was gone. Next target, Bronze Tiger. A street fight in the Narrows ended with both men bloody, but Bronze Tiger managed to slip away. Meanwhile, Deadshot set his sights on Oliver, or so he thought. Instead, he caught John Diggle in his scope. The shot rang out. Diggle hit the ground, but Oliver got there just in time, taking Diggle to the Quiver, his underground hideout. When Diggle came to, he learned the truth. Oliver was the Hood. The two shook hands and began working together. Still, Deadshot vanished, leaving only a bullet with a carved target. The trail led Oliver back to Constantine Dracon, the very man who trained him on the island. They clashed in the warehouse district. Arrow versus blade, skill versus brutality. Oliver triumphed, chaining Dracon for the police. Finally, Oliver confronted Adam Hunt. He didn't kill him. Instead, he demanded a massive sum be transferred to a specific account. When Hunt refused, Oliver vanished, leaving an arrow embedded in the wall. Hidden in that arrow was a microprocessor, one that automatically drained Hunt's slush fund and wired the money to a children's charity. The next day, Oliver threw a party in a luxury high-rise, right across from Hunt's building. A welcome home gala, all proceeds to charity. He smiled for cameras, shook hands, toasted champagne. No one noticed when he disappeared for 10 minutes. In those 10 minutes, someone shot a blue dart into Oliver. Non-lethal, but powerful. It wasn't Deadshot, wasn't Bronze Tiger, wasn't Red Tool. A new player had entered the game. Oliver, fighting off the effects of the dart, stormed Hunt's building. He took down the remaining security, retrieved Hunt's data, and returned to the party as if nothing had happened. That's when Quentin Lance arrived, steaming. "You just happened to throw a party next to the guy the hood goes after?" "Strange coincidence," Lance growled. Oliver shrugged, sipping his drink. "That Hunt guy's always on TV. Maybe he made a few enemies." "Don't play dumb." "Wouldn't dream of it, Lieutenant. See you around." Back inside, Oliver stood with Tommy. Laughter, music, champagne, and no one knew who he really was. He raised a glass. Quietly, he transferred the stolen funds to various youth foundations across Star City. That night, the news ran a report. A new criminal was rising. Count Vertigo, Seth Gable, leaving victims disoriented and panicked. Across town, Quentin Lance watched as Constantine Drakon was locked up in Iron Heights Penitentiary. Oliver Queen wasn't the same man who left on the Queen's Gambit. He was something else now. He was the Emerald Archer. Cast: Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, Stephen Amell, John Diggle, David Ramsey, Moira Queen, Susanna Thompson, Thea Queen, Willa Holland, Tommy Merlin, Colin Donnell, Malcolm Merlin, John Barrowman, Dinah Drake, Katie Cassidy, Sarah Lance, Katie Lutz, Quentin Lance, Paul Blackthorne, Robert Queen, Jamie Sheridan, Dave Hackett, Ben Cotton, Adam Hunt, Brian Markinson, Constantine Drakon, Darren Shalavi, Red Tool, Wayne Wilkins. Adam Sandler, Deadshot. Michael Rowe, Bronze Tiger, Michael Jai White, Count Vertigo, Seth Gable. In the same universe as Superman Man of Tomorrow #1, Batman Begins, Aquaman, King of the Seven Seas, story continues.
And the next one is another Batman story.
Batman the Dark Knight. Set a few weeks after the events of Batman Begins. In the shared universe of Superman Man of Tomorrow and Green Arrow, the Emerald Archer. It's been a couple of quiet weeks since Commissioner Gordon handed Batman that strange playing card, a Joker card. Since then, Gotham has simmered, the mob is fractured, the Falcone name is scattered, and the GCPD is slowly trying to clean up what's left. But Gotham never sleeps long, and peace never lasts. Blackgate Penitentiary. A bloody massacre. Several guards are torn apart. Surveillance footage reveals Black Mask led the assault, aided by a monstrous enforcer, Killer Croc. Croc bursts through the prison wall like a wrecking ball, allowing Black Mask to sneak inside. But what was he after? Enter Batman. Gliding above the smoke and chaos, Batman locks onto Croc, lumbering across the prison roof. The fight is brutal. Batman uses every gadget at his disposal, and it's barely enough. Croc slams him through air vents, nearly biting through his arm. Eventually, Batman lures Croc to an exposed electric grid and uses it to stun him long enough to drop a gas pellet into his mouth. Knockout. But Black Mask is already gone. In the wreckage, Batman discovers a shredded hard drive, burned at the edges, clearly something Croc was ordered to destroy. Back at the Batcave, Alfred helps him decrypt it. The drive reveals an ominous list of names and details. Black Mask has hired a hit squad. Each killer was promised $10,000 to eliminate Batman. The assassins, Bronze Tiger, Deadshot, Deathstroke, Black Spider, and coordinating them all. A mysterious tech support known as Calculator. But Batman doesn't act immediately. First, he makes a stop. A mobster tied to the last threads of the Falcone Empire, Mr. ZZ, is making moves. Batman smashes through a smuggling operation, dismantles ZZZ's men, and leaves ZZZ webbed in his own warehouse with an anonymous tip to the GCPD. Then, one by one, the assassins descend on Gotham. Bronze Tiger comes first. Batman ambushes him in a meatpacking plant after the assassin is seen tracking a city councilman. Their fight is fast and ferocious. Tiger lands a few solid hits, but Batman slams him through a stack of crates and cuffs him to a meat hook for the GCPD. That night, Batman discovers a corpse in an alley. He switches into full detective mode. Entry wounds, blood trajectory, the precision of the shot. It's Deadshot. Not dead, the killer. Then another scene, this one even messier. A body shot from a helicopter, the corpse smashed through a car windshield. Batman triangulates the bullet trajectory, and it's another match for Deadshot. Batman rushes to find his next target, Vicky Vale, who's on the list. He finds her just in time. Deadshot perched across the street with a sniper rifle. Batman disarms him mid-shot with a batarang, and they brawl through scaffolding and rooftop neon signs. Finally, Batman wraps Deadshot's arm in a grapple cable and pulls him off balance, slamming him into the roof and knocking him unconscious. Before Batman can take a breath, Deathstroke attacks. It's fast, two masters in motion, but the fight is brief. Batman is nearly stabbed, and as he recovers, Deathstroke is gone. A warning more than a kill attempt. Next is Black Spider, who has already killed 4 victims in one night. Batman hunts him through the sewers and corners him in a collapsing tunnel. The fight is gritty. Black Spider fights like a wild animal, but Batman manages to break his gauntlets and knock him out with a sonic pulse. GCPD soon takes Bronze Tiger, Deadshot, and Black Spider into custody. Commissioner Gordon personally oversees their transfer back to the newly rebuilt Blackgate prison, where Killer Croc is also held. But then a clue leads Batman somewhere darker. He finds a dead woman, someone known to be one of Roman Sinus's girlfriends, Black Mask's. Her body is burned, her smile carved wide, and a single playing card is left by her ear, the Joker. Batman rushes to what was supposed to be Black Mask's hideout. Instead of Roman, he finds a fake Black Mask, surrounded by goons. Batman crashes through the skylight and fights his way to the masked leader. The imposter laughs maniacally. "You're too late, Bats." The mask comes off. It's the Joker. He's taken over Roman Sionis' empire, his men, his banks, his operations. The assassins? All hired by him. Joker explains it was all a game. Black Mask was merely a pawn. Joker's true goal, chaos. Before Batman can act, Joker detonates the explosives planted around the bank. Boom, Batman has to choose. Chase Joker or save the lives inside. He chooses the people. Batman rescues Roman Sionis just before the vault explodes. But Roman is livid. His empire is in ashes. Joker escapes. The next morning, Jim Gordon oversees the transfer of all the captured assassins to Blackgate. In the Batcave, Batman studies footage of Joker, Calculator, and the whole operation. He knows it's just beginning. Black Mask is still out there, Joker is growing more dangerous, and the war for Gotham's soul has only just begun. Credits roll, open quote, Batman Christian Bale, Jim Gordon, Gary Oldman, Vicky Vale, Kim Basinger Deadshot, Michael Rowe, Bronze Tiger, Michael Jai White, Deathstroke, Slade Wilson, Manu Bennett, Mr. ZZ, Al Pacino, Black Spider, Chris Rock, Black Mask, Ewan McGregor, Killer Croc, Adewale Akinwumi Agbaje Calculator, Tom Amandi's Joker, uncredited voice and appearance tease, close quote, story continues in the next installment.
Oh, and also Mr. ZZ is a mobster in the comics who works for, I think, Carmine Falcone, but he falls asleep a lot, and that's just like an over thing, like basically all he does is he falls asleep at random. So I just wanted to add him in here as like a reference basically to that character. Next story is a Green Arrow story.
Green Arrow Vertigo, set in Star City, part of the shared universe featuring Superman, David Cornsweet, Batman, Christian Bale, Wonder Woman, Adrianne Palicki, and others. Opening sequence. Star City is in chaos. Crime is shifting from back alleys to boardrooms. As the powerful Bertinelli crime family falls apart after a brutal massacre, a vigilante dressed in green prowls the rooftops. Oliver Queen, the Green Arrow, Stephen Amell. He's hunting down the assassin behind the murders. His target tonight? A black-clad figure taking down what's left of the Bertinelli thugs. The fight between them is fierce, fluid, and fast, arrow versus crossbow. Just as Green Arrow disarms her, he sees her face. Huntress, Helena Bertinelli, daughter of the very family she slaughtered. Still processing, he's interrupted by Detective Quentin Lance, Paul Blackthorne, who arrives with backup and arrests Helena. Green Arrow vanishes into the night. Introducing Black Canary. Later, while staking out a Bertinelli warehouse, Green Arrow is ambushed by someone with an impressive sonic cry and fast fists. They clash, sparks flying until she lands a blow and pulls back her mask. It's Dinah Drake, Katie Cassidy, his ex-girlfriend. Oliver, Dinah? Dinah? Nice to see you too, Ollie. Next time, maybe answer my texts. Dinah is now Black Canary, working independently to take down Count Vertigo, a drug lord with political influence and mob ties. The Bertinellis had been dealing Vertigo's product, twisted hallucinogens that warp reality. Enter Barry Allen. Dinah tracks a lab supplying the Vertigo drug. Oliver follows and is surprised when they're met by Barry Allen, Grant Gustin, a forensic chemist from Central City. Barry says he's in town following a similar case and mentions that traces of the Vertigo compound were found in his mother's murder years ago. Oliver, you're chasing ghosts. Your father's in prison for a reason. He didn't do it. There was something else there, a yellow blur. Lightning. Oliver shrugs him off. Go back to Central City, Barry. This is our mess. Count Vertigo strikes. Oliver and Dinah track down Count Vertigo, Seth Gable, in his hideout, but before Oliver can get a shot off, he's hit by a dart filled with Vertigo's latest strain. Oliver's world crumbles. Visions of failure, betrayal, and death haunt him. A twisted hallucination shows his father blaming him for everything. He collapses. Now it's Black Canary versus Count Vertigo. She fights through waves of his guards using her canary cry, martial skill, and sheer grit. Vertigo tries to inject her too, but she turns the tables, using his own drug against him in a final blow that overloads his senses and knocks him out. Aftermath. Oliver wakes up the next morning. Dinah's there. They've clearly reconnected in more ways than one. Dinah, you always did look better without your shirt. Oliver, you always liked playing nurse. Their moment is cut short when Thebe Willa Holland calls. Their mother, Moira Queen, Susanna Thompson, has been stabbed. Oliver races to the hospital. The doctors say she'll survive, but the stab wound was precise, intentional. Oliver, to himself, who would want to kill my mother? That night, outside Moira's hospital window, Oliver spots a dark figure in a hooded costume almost like his, but darker. The man stares at him, unmoving. Then just as suddenly, he's gone. Oliver's face hardens. Post-credit scene, Central City. A storm brews outside the CCPD crime lab. Barry Allen is alone, working late, analyzing traces of yellow lightning energy. Suddenly, crack, boom! A bolt of lightning tears through the window and strikes Barry directly, hurling him into the shelves of chemicals. Sparks fly, glass shatters, beakers explode. His body convulses in electricity. Barry lies still until his fingers twitch. Cut to black. Cast: Green Arrow, Oliver Queen, Stephen Amell, Black Canary, Dinah Drake, Katie Cassidy, Huntress, Helena Bertinelli, Jessica DeGao, Count Vertigo, Seth Gable, Barry Allen, Grant Gustin, Thea Queen, Willa Holland, Moira Queen, Susanna Thompson, Detective Quentin Lance, Paul Black, Dark Archer, John Barrowman. Next, open quote, the shadows grow deeper. The Dark Archer rises. Coming soon, Green Arrow, Rise of the Dark Archer. And in Central City, the Flash is born. Close quote.
Anyways, that's the end of this video. Well, not really the end. I'm going to do some explaining. Batman Begins takes place before Superman #1. Green Arrow takes place after a funny thing that happened. Batman Begins and The Dark Knight take place before Superman #1. Both Green Arrow stories take place after a funny thing that happened on the way to Aquaman's Triton and Wonder Woman's sword. So yeah.